Okay, I'm going to do the microphone shift. There we go. Good morning, friends and comrades. I hope you've had your coffee. We've got a big couple of days ahead of us. I'd just like to begin by acknowledging that we meet today on the lands of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation and pay my respects to elders past and present. Colleen, thank you so much for your beautiful welcome to country. You're a dear friend of us all, and your presence and words here ground us and connect us to this land and its stories. We have a lot of work to do on working together towards reconciliation, and the party needs to do a better job of engaging with, supporting and creating space for First Nations people. I want to particularly acknowledge the member for Kimberley, Davina D'Arna, in the room, and the newest member of the Federal Labor Caucus, Senator Dorinda Cox, is here. I also want to acknowledge the First Nations Network, from whom we'll hear a report later during conference. I will acknowledge the Deputy Prime Minister, Richard Marles, is currently on his way to this great place. I consider Richard an honorary Western Australian who gave the Prime Minister a run for his money in the Visits to Western Australia stakes during the federal campaign. His support, his energy, and frankly the air miles that he did were invaluable in our efforts to hold on to seats like Hasluck, Pearce and Tangney, and were part of a magnificent result that yielded 2 additional seats in Bullwinkle and Moore. So, I'd like to acknowledge the rest of the WA Federal Caucus that's in attendance. It's the biggest group we've ever sent to Canberra. 11 out of 16 lower house seats, 5 senators. It's an extraordinary effort. The Premier, Roger Cook, a man I've known for decades, and that makes me feel old. A leader who was pivotal in the McGowan government's world-class response to the pandemic, put in a breathtaking performance in the 2025 state election. 46 lower house seats, 5 more than the initial record-breaking result in 2017 when we came to government. Can we put it up in the air for the State Caucus and the Premier? I'd also like to acknowledge the Premier's Cabinet and the many members of the State Labor Caucus that are here today or will be here tomorrow. To my predecessor, Senator Ellie Whittaker, thank you for leaving the party in such tremendous shape. Watching you work over the first half of the year was a privilege, and you and your team have been instrumental in our historic standing in WA at a state and federal level. The only thing of note that I've had to fix at party office since you departed in July is the building's air conditioning unit. Although I would flag that is not cheap, so, you know. The Honourable Lauren Cahun, the other recent elected official departure, my ride or die right winger for so many years in government, who continues to be a dependable foil for my drinks, thoughts and bad jokes. Thank you to outgoing party president Lorna Clark. I just want to thank you for your stewardship of the party, your text messages, and your text messages. It's been invaluable to the continuity and advice from all 3 of you over the last couple of months. It's been incredible. But my old boss, Guy Houston, once said to me, change is hard, change is constant, and change is good. To that end, I welcome Jessica Smith as the new WA Labor Party President. Jess will be a remarkable addition to the team, and I'm excited to see her make the role her own over the years ahead. Adelaide Kidson, the Assistant State Secretary. I've already found myself in lockstep with her even since July. It's wonderful having you in the office. Although I don't want to preempt the returning officer's report, but should you be re-elected, I will be a very happy camper. Adelaide is one of the sharpest campaigners in our branch, and our branch is objectively the best in the country. SA Labor, good luck toppling us from that mantle in March. To the Life members gathered here, and preemptively to those who will receive the honour tomorrow, you are the foundation upon which this success was built. Cumulatively, hundreds, 1,000 years of experience, of effort, of conversations to progress this party of government and its achievements. Thank you. To our affiliate unions, you are an essential part of the political debate in this country and in this room. I've been a union member for nearly 30 years. I joined the SDA in 1996. I've been a member of the mighty United Workers Union for 24 years, from back out at the casino. Unions have been the drivers of progress and change for workers here and far from here. You don't have a place in this room. This is your room. So, big year. What a rod we've made for our own backs. 2 elections in 2 months and 2 record-breaking wins. How do we top that? It's testament to the party's capacity to keep its Labor army of volunteers and activists engaged, match fit, and ready to go the distance. A mammoth effort that required the full focus of the party. That full effort did mean a 6-month suspension of normal party business. That 6-month suspension has meant that putting this together has at times felt a little rushed, but we got there. It's also worth noting that only 3 of the people currently working in party office were even around for the last conference in 2023, and one of them had only been on staff for a fortnight. So you can all give me a critique of the event on Sunday afternoon. Dealing with complaints is, after all, a key part of the State Secretary's role. Look, this conference, held in the immediate aftermath of those 2 immensely successful election wins, is happening in an interesting environment. The 2 huge mandates secured means that much of what we will discuss over the next 2 days is a reflection of that. Apologies to the gathered media at the back. This might not be the battle royale you were after. We're a pretty together show right now. By the way, delegates, the journos are the ones in the black lanyards. We've held conferences in all sorts of locations over the years. A little upmarket in the good years, a little different in the other ones. We've held smooth ones, we've held robust ones, occasionally rats in the ranks, and at least once that I can remember, rats in the rafters too. But here we are. Welcome to the great Labor state and federal electorates of Fremantle. This is my 9th state conference as a delegate. Many of those were spent whipping votes, some were spent staffing, all of them were spent lurking in a corner somewhere. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with the being on stage bit yet, but hopefully I'll get used to it by Sunday afternoon. You guys look great from up here though. Delegates, the state of the party is strong. The membership continues to grow. We are more than double in size what we were 15 years ago. Financially, the party's position is strong. We have a new home base, a massive base, from which we can conduct campaigns, party meetings, and training programs. And we continue to look to grow a financial bedrock with the Labor Foundation, which in time will insulate us from the financial pressures we have suffered and endured in the past. WA Labor is recognised across the country as a campaigning organisation that knows how to win. Winning requires discipline, a strategy. It requires being methodical, having the research to back up and reinforce your decisions. It requires people, scale. It requires unity of purpose, clarity in our plan and a message for voters, and then it requires the party to talk to those voters and bring them on a journey with us. That journey doesn't just end at the ballot box. That's the halfway point. The next step for a responsible party of government is to deliver on that plan. That we understand the 2 parts of this, the need to conduct a winning campaign as a party and the need to implement our vision as a government separates us from the other sides. They don't talk with voters, they bellow at them. They don't have unity, they have chaos currently. At times, they're not even bellowing at voters. They bellow at each other. Fit to govern, they're barely fit to sit in the same room together. But we know what that's like too. Because those of us who've been around long enough, and as much as I will try to deny it, there's no denying my middle-aged status. Those of us who have been around long enough, we've seen it. We've experienced it ourselves. And it can happen again in the blink of an eye. We're the strongest branch in the country precisely because we remember those moments. We refuse to be complacent. We continue to fight and work for every vote, for every win. And once an election is over, we implement that vision and build towards the next election. If you don't have a 4-year plan, don't plan on having 4 more years. With Premier Cook and his team, we will deliver on the priority areas for Western Australians. Access to the healthcare you need when you need it. With an incredible and bold hospital announcement just in the last few days. Building the homes we need for Western Australians and a future made in WA. And with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, represented here today by Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles, we have a leader at a national level who is determined to strengthen Medicare with a record investment in bulk billing and building Medicare urgent care clinics right across this country and particularly here in the West. Getting more roofs over the heads of Australians and with huge opportunities such as AUKUS, building a national future made in Australia. Our two governments are aligned. The people's governments, record election wins, mandates secured now to be delivered. And while that second part of the journey, delivery, is being implemented, the party begins working again on securing another election. Training, development, activity, getting out on the doors, in the streets, talking to Western Australians about the things that matter to them. We know that asking for a 3rd term for this federal government will be harder than asking for a second. And a 4th term for this Premier's incredible state government will be so much harder than asking for a 2nd or even a 3rd. But this room, this party, can make it happen. The work starts now? No. The work has already begun. Thank you.